When you look up at the night sky, you see stars, you see planets, you might see the moon. But scattered between those familiar lights are countless other objects. They are the leftovers from the birth of our solar system. We call them asteroids. Think of them as cosmic fossils. They are ancient rocks, orbiting the sun just like Earth does. Some are small, no bigger than a car. Others are enormous, hundreds of kilometers across. They aren't perfect spheres like planets. They are lumpy, potato-shaped, and often covered in craters from billions of years of bumping into each other. Most of these space rocks live in a specific neighborhood. It's called the main asteroid belt. This is a vast, donut-shaped region of space located between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. It's not like the crowded asteroid fields you see in movies, though. Space is incredibly big. So why would we go to all the trouble? Why send people and expensive machines to these distant, lifeless rocks? The answer starts right here on Earth. Our planet has given us everything we need to build our civilization. We have mined its metals, drilled for its fuels, and used its resources to create the modern world. But these resources are finite. We are using them up. Some of the most important elements for our technology, like platinum and cobalt, are incredibly rare in Earth's crust. They are essential for everything from smartphones to catalytic converters to medical equipment. Asteroids offer a different path. First, you have to get there. We would launch a robotic prospector mission, much like the ones we've already sent to asteroids like Bennu and Ryugu. This probe would map the asteroid, analyze its chemical composition using spectrometers, and identify the most valuable or accessible deposits. It would be like sending a robotic geologist to survey the site before committing to a full-scale operation. Choosing the right target is the most important first step. Once a promising asteroid is chosen, the real work begins. You wouldn't see human miners with pickaxes. The environment is far too harsh. The work would be done by specialized robots. Imagine a fleet of machines designed for a zero-gravity vacuum environment. Some might be anchorbots, drilling into the asteroid's surface to secure the entire operation. Others might be cutters, using lasers or mechanical saws to carve out chunks of rock. It's a delicate dance. In microgravity, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If a robot pushes on a rock, it will push itself away. Everything needs to be carefully tethered and controlled. Processing the raw material is the next big challenge. You don't want to haul trillions of tons of useless rock back to Earth. The goal is to refine the materials right there, at the asteroid. For metallic asteroids, you could grind up the rock and use powerful magnets to separate the valuable iron, nickel, and other metals from the silicate dust. One of the biggest hurdles is the asteroid's rotation. Most asteroids are not static. They're spinning, sometimes quite rapidly. Asteroid surfaces are covered in a fine layer of dust and grit called regolith. In a vacuum with no atmosphere to dampen its movement, this dust is a menace. It's electrostatically charged by the solar wind, so it clings to everything: solar panels, camera lenses, mechanical joints. Radiation is another invisible but constant threat. Without a protective atmosphere or magnetic field, everything on an asteroid surface is exposed to the full force of solar flares and cosmic rays. This radiation can degrade electronics, making them unreliable over time. If a critical piece of equipment breaks down on a mining site on Earth, you can send a technician with a truck full of tools to fix it. On an asteroid millions of kilometers away, that's just not an option. If we can solve the challenges of mining, the next logical step is to think about living there. For the same reason we build outposts in Antarctica or on oil rigs. If there's valuable work to be done, you need people on site to supervise, to solve complex problems, and to conduct research. The asteroid itself provides the best solution. The rock that we are there to mine is also our best shield. The first step would be to use robotic tunnel boring machines to excavate large caverns inside the asteroid. These caverns would then be sealed from the inside with an inflatable airtight bladder or a sprayed-on sealant to create a shirt-sleeve environment. We could then build our living quarters, labs, and greenhouses inside this protected, pressurized space. If you hollow out a cylinder along the asteroid's axis of rotation, people living on the inner surface of that cylinder would experience centrifugal force that feels just like gravity. The habitat would need to be a closed-loop ecosystem. Everything would be recycled. Air would be scrubbed of carbon dioxide by plants in hydroponic farms, which would also produce fresh food for the inhabitants. What would a day be like for one of these pioneers? You would wake up not to a sunrise, but to the gentle hum of the life support systems and the station's programmed daylight cycle. The view out your window wouldn't be a blue sky, but perhaps a view across the cylindrical habitat to the farms and homes on the other side, or a reinforced porthole looking out at the star-dusted blackness of space. Your morning routine might involve a check-in with the mining operations, supervising the autonomous robots from a control center deep inside the rock. Your work would be mentally demanding. You might spend your shift analyzing sensor data from a prospecting bot. When you did go outside, it would be a full-fledged spacewalk, or EVA. You would don a bulky suit and navigate the asteroid's surface using a jetpack, or by pulling yourself along guide ropes. The community would be small and close-knit, like a village on the frontier. Mealtimes in a communal dining hall would be important social events. Recreation might involve virtual reality games, watching movies beamed from Earth, or spending time in the station's greenhouse, surrounded by the sights and smells of living plants. Exercise would be a mandatory part of the daily routine, essential for maintaining muscle mass and bone density, even with artificial gravity. You would be living with your colleagues 24/7, so learning to be a good team member would be the most important skill of all. The sense of purpose would be immense. Looking forward, the development of asteroid resources is not just an opportunity, it may become a necessity. As we look towards a future with a larger human population and a greater demand for technology, the finite resources of our home planet will become a limiting factor. These space rocks are more than just mines or future homes, they are stepping stones. A network of asteroid bases and refueling stations would create a true interplanetary highway system. The act of pursuing this future will drive innovation in countless fields here on Earth. The challenges of asteroid mining will force us to develop more advanced robotics and artificial intelligence. From the surface of an asteroid, Earth is a small, beautiful, and fragile-looking object in the vastness of space. It reinforces the lesson we first learned from the Apollo missions. We live on a precious island in a cosmic ocean, and we must take care of it. The asteroids call to us not just with the promise of wealth, but with the promise of a more resilient and expansive future for humanity. A future where we are no longer confined to one world, but are true citizens of the solar system. Pause, contemplative. The next great frontier awaits.